David Van Noy here, coming to you live from the Van Noy Real Estate Group. And we've also got Bree.
Hey, David, how are you?
It's a warming Friday. I feel good. And you've got some questions, right? We got some stuff to talk about today.
I do have questions, and they're all about the market because I am super interested in what's going on here. So, how many houses are on the market right now?
Oh, okay. How many houses are on the market? Well, I've got my market update that I brought for you. There's a couple things that I think everybody needs to know about what's going on in the market, how many houses are on the market, and what to use that information for, right? So in Jackson County, we have 1,686 homes on the market. In Johnson County, we have 1,703. So a real similar amount in the two counties that we really keep track of here.
That's awesome. So how many houses are usually on the market then?
Great question. There's usually about twice as many as that. There's usually in those counties, typically somewhere this time of year, there's typically 2,500, maybe 2,800 homes on the market. So we're seeing inventory is still very much down. And what's contributing to that is about the same amount of houses that come on the market are being sold immediately. We're kind of on a one in, one out basis, which is not, well, it's not normal necessarily for real estate. There's usually, at this point, we start to accumulate some inventory and some more options. So if you're a buyer in the marketplace, you might be feeling like there's not a lot of options. And if there is, they go pretty quickly, right? So that's happening a lot right now.
Okay, so what does that mean for the future? Like, what do you think is going to happen with the market?
Well, so it's good for sellers right now because there's still a very high demand for houses. In order for the market to improve for buyers, let's say, there would have to be an accumulation of inventory over time. So we would have to start to receive more houses come on the market than sell. Pretty obviously, if every house that comes on the market sells pretty quickly, prices will continue to go up a little bit and the options will continue to be depleted. So depending on who you are, if you're a seller, you're pretty happy about the fact that if you need to sell your house and you're motivated to get somewhere else, then you should get a pretty good price pretty quickly, depending on where you are. But if you're a buyer, there's not a ton of options. So depending on who you are, that can be good and bad news, right?
Right. So what you're telling me is that I should probably sell my house now?
Gosh, doesn't that sound like a salesperson's answer to everything? Sell your house right now. The case right now where it makes sense to sell your house more than anything, when people say, should I sell? I always look to see, are you selling a big house and trying to get to a smaller one? Are you trying to sell a bigger house and maybe get out of a payment altogether? Or are you looking to sell your house and buy a bigger house? And those are two very different questions. So if you have no motivation to sell a house or to buy a house, it's not that you absolutely have to do it today. If you don't have to buy a house, it's probably not an amazing time to force yourself to go out and buy one yet until the market changes a little bit. And if you need to sell one and maybe sell a big one, get to a smaller one, then yes, it's a perfect time for that.
Okay, so say I do need to be in a new house. How long does it take for that whole entire process if I'm wanting to sell a house and be in a new one?
Okay, so an important part of that is that you're selling one currently and you're buying a new one next, right? And that's most of the people that hire us or hire me, they hire me to manage that part of the process, because getting a buyer for the right price on your house and then timing that piece of it to put you in the next house takes a lot more detail. And that's exactly what we are really set up to do. If someone were to call me today, Bree, and say, we just want to buy a new house, this one's too small, we need a bigger one, or whatever the reason is, if they called me today and we set up an appointment and met today, depending on where it is, it's going to take 65 to 85 days from today to when I put you in the new house and deliver your check from the old house and you're completely done with the process. So on average, about 80 days, I would say.
Okay, awesome. So if I have any more questions about this, or if I'm wanting to get in touch with you, how should I get a hold of you?
Well, if somebody has questions about the market, they could always call me directly at 913-259-4663. That's 259-HOME. I would just open it up also that if somebody had a question, that it doesn't have to be a perfect question. It doesn't have to be, I'm absolutely doing something today. I do find, and I think it's important to note that I would like to be a year or two ahead of any potential plans so that I can give you any information or data that you might need leading up to making a decision like that. And even if you're just kicking it around or you're not quite sure if you are going to do something, it doesn't have to be today. It doesn't have to be perfect. In order for my business model to really apply to most people, I've got to be at my desk answering a lot of questions all day long, typically with people who aren't motivated to do things today. So that's okay if somebody falls into that category. And I wanted to make sure everybody knows that.
Awesome. Well, you have answered all my questions today, so I am good there, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you for having me on your Facebook Live Friday today.
Thanks.
Yep.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.